When DC and Marvel Comics issue press releases to introduce the latest hot new hero or villain, like DC did for Miracle Molly, you tend to take things with a grain of salt. Nothing will ever be the same, the publishers like to tell us, a lot. And when Miracle Molly was announced it's coming soon, folks were like, okay, here we go again. But I've got a couple of reasons why you should pay attention to her. So in Batman issue 108, literally advertised as Meet Miracle Molly, over 12 pages, entirely a walk and talk dialogue with Batman, Molly reveals herself voluntarily. And honestly, even just that, feels really refreshing. While it sort of resembles the classic bad guy trope of revealing a dastardly plan, thinking you're about to get one up over somebody, what's different about Molly is her lack of gamesmanship or self-involvement. She doesn't appear to be setting any traps for Batman, she's not serving her own ego by taking a victory lap, she simply reveals her motivation because he asks, and because she has a perfectly legitimate reason to tell him. Yeah, Batman is as surprised as we were reading it. The dynamic is engaging. Molly makes it plain that Batman has no need to use his world's greatest detective skills, and she in fact sees through the match's disguise that he arrives in when he tries to infiltrate what he believes is the headquarters of her collective. Look, her powers and her skills are that she's a genius at creating wearable and cybernetic tech/human enhancement, and she is clearly in the driver's seat of this entire interaction. Batman is there to learn. Molly is there to tell him anything he wants to know, mostly because it follows her and the Insanity Collective's core principle to allow Batman to join their cause if he chooses to. And really, it's that confidence in her cause and the absence of any fear of Batman that's just so incredible. Batman and Molly's real opposition seems to be in the ideological arena, with the Dark Knight finding himself unprepared in a legitimate debate of topical ideas. An unprepared Batman! Think about that! The original Nightshade was a criminal named Tilda Johnson who frequently battled Captain America back in the 1970s. However, in 2023, Marvel introduced Tilda's cousin, Logan Lewis, in Marvel's Voices Pride. So first appearing in the story, What May Bloom, Logan is a PhD student working on research to cure sickle cell anemia using fragments of the Cosmic Cube. So when she is doused with chemicals in an accident, she gained chemical altering powers that grants her abilities like super strength and the power to heat or freeze things on touch. And although she's initially afraid at what she may have done to herself, she eventually accepts the help and support of her community and is determined to help those who can't help themselves. The Young Avengers team proved to be pretty amazing, but everybody on the team knew who the most powerful hero was. Wiccan's magical skills gave him a variety of powers, and as the years went on, Wiccan only got more powerful. He's now married to the Emperor of the combined Skrull and Kree empires. And as powerful as Hulkling is, Wiccan is, I think, far more impressive. Wiccan has always been on the smaller side of things, like physically. He's not exactly heavily muscled, although he's in good shape, so it would be easy to think that he's relatively weak. However, much like his heavy hitter mother, the Scarlet Witch, Wiccan's powers make him a force to be reckoned with. He's not at a reality-altering level, but he's got it where it counts, and trust me, yeah, I'm good. Mary Jane Watson never needed to be a superhero, or even Spider-Man's girlfriend to be destined for greatness. But during 2022's Dark Web story arc, Mary Jane gains powers for herself, finally ready to begin leading a hero journey of her own after spending years supporting other heroes. As a riff on her most iconic line, MJ adopts the name Jackpot, along with a new costume, and joins a fight against crime. Look, from the moment she debuted on panel in her first full appearance in 1966's Amazing Spider-Man 42, she was driven by a desire to leap into adventure, to never let fear get in her way. In the face of a far more apprehensive and flustered Peter Parker, she's there, she knows what she wants. In retrospect, her iconic, unforgettable, "Face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot," reads much like a call to action, and it defined her for so many years to come. Becoming a superhero is when MJ really gets to take the lead. The powers on the costume allow her to help others and make a difference in the world in a bigger way. But that determination to want to help and do more, it's just because it was so instilled in her from the get-go, it makes her incredible. As a character who first debuted in the Sins of Sinister timeline, John Ironfire proved so popular that he later appeared in the Earth 616 timeline. Ironfire is a mutant from Arakko, with the power to turn his blood into metal that he then can control. In his first appearance in Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants issue 1, Ironfire uses his powers to create metal claws, drawing comparisons to Wolverine, but his abilities prove to be so much more dynamic, because he uses that metal blood to create horns, protective armor, and even molten little weapons that he can fire at enemies. He serves as a right-hand man to Storm in her Brotherhood, and lives hundreds of years into the future, even adopting a look very similar to Odin. After the conclusion of Sins of Sinister, he arrives in the main 616 continuity, where it is revealed that he is a member of the White White Sword's 100 champions, an army that wages an eternal battle in the land of Amenth. Ironfire is the last of these warriors, arriving on Araka with the White Sword's all-powerful blade Purity. He warns the Iraqi mutants that Genesis, the wife of Apocalypse, is coming to conquer the planet. With his instantly iconic look and dynamic power set, Ironfire has the potential to be a hero with a crazy great legacy in the Marvel Comics. A refugee from a faraway part of the galaxy, Sal Saman is perhaps the most powerful entity the Avengers have encountered in years. Sal has the ability to give superpowers to others in close proximity to her, and on her home planet, she was used to boost the strength of armies. She eventually fled and learned to keep her powers in check so that she couldn't be used as a weapon of war. In Avengers Beyond issue 2, her powers are meddled with by the Beyonder, and she begins involuntarily giving powers to people all across New York. Now, she's distraught by this, as well as by the fact that, well, the Avengers know of her existence. She's terrified that the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, anybody's gonna lock her up, only to bring her out to fight like Thanos or Galactus. Black Panther and Iron Man are able to dampen her powers, but later her neighbors force her to give them the powers of the Avengers. You know, stuff like Thor, stuff like She-Hulk, Captain Marvel. Even more terrifying, she is able to grant one mortal the powers of the Beyonder, one of the most powerful beings in the universe with the ability to shape reality itself. Although it would be her worst nightmare come to life, if Sel were to join the Avengers in a fight against an all-powerful foe, she might be able to give them the boost they need to prevail. Insane! Somnus, this dream-controlling hero, made quite an impactful debut in the pages of Marvel Voices, Pride #1. So in the story, Carl Valentino, a closeted mutant, hooked up with Daken, showing him what life would be like with him in a dream. However, when Daken found out decades later that Carl died without ever coming out, the clawed hero had him resurrected by the Five, thus allowing the hero, now named Somnus, to live life as his true self. Overall, Somnus' design on its own is just cosmic brilliance. Adam Warlock is one of the most powerful heroes in the Marvel Universe, which makes sense since he was created to be the perfect living specimen. His creators intended to use him for their own selfish ends, but he rebelled, became a hero instead. Well, Eve Warlock's origin shares many similarities. Created by the High Evolutionary to replace Adam, Eve first appears in Warlock Rebirth by Ron Mars and Ron Lim. Eve has the same cosmic powers of matter and energy manipulation as Adam. After initially fighting her counterpart, she also rebels against her creator and refuses to kill Adam for the High Evolutionary. They team up to defeat him, and after the High Evolutionary flees, she sets off on a quest to find him and make him pay for his crimes. One might not expect the nephew of Amanda Waller to be a hero, and perhaps neither does said nephew. Archie never wanted these powers, nor did he seemingly want to work as a psychic killer for Amanda Waller as a former Argus agent. Deadeye's true motives have not been revealed, but the fact that he did not kill the villain sent to take his life perhaps proves that he is morally corrupted, but still good at heart. Deadeye has a bone to pick with Waller, especially for the current unknown treatment of him and his brother. Look, he's got an impressionable outfit and some really cool powers. He's got psychokinesis. He can tap into the astral plane. Clark Kent is learning a lot about Metropolis's history in the pages of Superman, and during a blackout caused by an upgraded parasite, the Man of Steel was weaker than ever after a run-in with the power-draining foe. However, he bumped into Marilyn Moonlight, a mysterious and legendary figure from the Metropolis's old days. Well, Moonlight has such intense solar-based abilities that she was able to heal Clark and give him a serious power bump. Well, that's all for today, folks. I've been Alexa. See ya!